Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Lines In. This is the catch-up episode, not the comeback episode, but the catch-up. And boy, do we have a lot of that to do today. So, man, we're really excited for you all to tune in and hanging out with us today. We're doing a little bit early today. We got a lot that we want to cover. But most importantly, man, David, I think that, you and I can agree. We've talked about this quite a bit. Kind of missed this, man. Kind of missed being here, doing some talking and hanging out, talking fishing. And we got quite a bit, that we're going to cover today. Some headlining news, some local fishing stuff, some reports, and talk about this spring kickoff sale that we're going to be having going on up here, real soon at S.Y. Wilson and Company, and then also the St. Jude Kayak Open coming up Memorial Day weekend in May. So a lot of topics to kind of discuss. David, man, we're really seeing some good weather roll through here this week. I was talking to a friend of mine today. He was on the water yesterday, caught about 11 small ones. Today, he just blew it out of the water and was catching about 30 plus fish. Between the average of 3 and 5 pounds, just right across the river in Arkansas. So it is that time. It's heating up. Yep. And I'm sure you on the storefront side, it's going to start heating up for you guys, kayak sales, merchandise sales and stuff. But tell us a little bit about, what you got going on up there at S.Y. Wilson and Company. You guys have made a lot of changes over the past, let's say 6 months, really integrated, done a lot of integration between the two stores. And now it's just kind of, it's all out there. The store looks great. So tune us in, man.
There's so much going on. I mean, I've literally been either on the road or at an event for the last 6 weeks, almost every week. Fishing is picking up. The fishing department's picking up. The kayak department's picking up. I sold 4 kayaks in the last week. It's the warmer weather that's getting here now is really beginning to ignite people's interest in going fishing and getting out there. I'm seeing a lot of people catching fish. I was on a run yesterday. I was on a run there at Appling Lake, and I watched a guy catch 3 or 4 fish on the topwater as I'm running. I'm like, maybe I should be running or fishing instead of running this morning. But,
running back to the house and getting the rod.
Yeah. So, but it's there. I mean, we had a big spike in fishing sales in March. Of course, we're already for April pretty dang close to our March sales. So, I mean, it's going the direction it needs to go. Everybody's thinking that direction. I'm seeing lots. I've got guys bringing me pictures every day. Seems like what they caught yesterday, kind of thing. So just like your buddy, this is getting good. I mean, it's been good. Just a lot of people have kind of missed it just because they weren't ready to go yet. Because we have a warm day, cold day, warm day, cold day.
Yeah.
And usually the cold days and the rainy days were the weekend, and the warm days were the days when everybody's stuck at work. So.
Oh, I mean, that's how it always goes. And then when it's tournament day, it's pouring its butt off. So, man, it's really getting that time. I feel like I'm already halfway through this season. I was just talking to somebody else about this. Starting in February, I've been constantly just on the go fishing. I think I've done fished 5 tournaments so far. So. Went and did the Bassmaster Classic. That was a lot of fun. And just, now I'm like having to kind of take a step back and rethink the, kind of stay in tune with the spawn and stuff and kind of what's going on here. So, it's getting to that time. The Tennessee River is starting to get up to those water levels that we all look forward to seeing, when those fish start to move up. And we'll touch on that in just a little bit. But, you've had a lot of really awesome, new products in the store. I've seen missile baits in the store. You got, you're getting your Berkeley inventory in there. Striking inventory is looking really good. Zoom, you got a lot of Zoom in there. Rods and reels. Little Miami Outfitters just dropped a new shipment of rods over there. So, man, a lot of good stuff. You guys need to get in there. If you have any fishing needs, be sure to stop in. And see David up at S.Y. Wilson and Company, primary tackle. So, man. So let's kind of get into some of the stuff that we've missed. you and I both, we kind of came, we talked about this and we said, look, we've got a lot going on. I personally took on a new role, in my civilian career, and was just kind of needing some time to get adjusted to that and whatnot, and so this wasn't for the lack of not wanting to necessarily do this so much, but we just had some things going on. So it was a very intentional break that that we all took, but it feels good to be back in here. David Walker's in the house. Man, you're getting here right on time, buddy. So good to see you. Yeah, it's definitely lip ripping season. That's a tongue twister. But a lot of things that that it's kind of old news now, but it's just kind of worth mentioning again, man. KVD announced that he's retiring from professional bass fishing. David, you've been around the sport a long time, man. Did you ever see that day coming?
Well, yeah, I mean, we knew eventually it would happen. It's actually a little sooner than I would have expected.
Yeah.
I mean, because I like to think he's still relatively young.
Yeah. I mean, compared to his buddy Rick Clunn, I mean,
yeah. So
and there's a lot that we could dive into that, in that comparison between those two guys. But yeah. I'm with you, man. He's not actually retiring. I think he's just retiring from tournament fishing for the most part. Right. But KVD is going to be around. He is,
yeah, exactly.
He's like Michael Jordan. You may not see him as much, but he's definitely going to be playing a role. Whatever that role is, I'm actually not looking forward to not seeing him, fishing with the tour or whatnot, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he's going to be able to do behind the scenes, for the sport.
And I'm sure he's got something up his sleeves, and there's a direction that he's taking. I mean, and you don't really, and it's not like those guys go away. I mean, we were at the Bassmasters Classic, and you saw Rowan Martin, you saw Bill Dance. Bill Dance hadn't fished a bass tournament in 50 years.
Yeah,
but he was there.
I mean, Hank Parker's still around.
Still around, so you're going to see KVD. It's just he's just not going to be. I mean, look, tournament fishing is a grind. I mean, I get tired of it every once in a while. I struggle with it at times, and I'm, and I don't do it near to the level those guys are doing it, and haven't done it near to any kind of real level in a while. So I mean, right. It's a grind. I mean, I don't blame a guy for doing that. So
yeah. Yeah, I thought that too, David Walker, that he was going to kind of pull. What was that football player?
Brett Favre.
Who?
Brett Favre.
No, he just the recent one. He just retired. It said he was retiring, then he came back.
You're talking about Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, yeah.
Well, Favre did the same thing. I mean, these old quarterbacks. He's an old fisherman. He might retire and he might come right back. Who knows?
Yeah.
He might.
Yeah, he may. Hey, what's up, Seth? Man, good to see you as always. Drop us a little comment, man. Let us know how's the fishing going on up there up north. But yeah, like you said, man, those guys, they never go away. Especially, it's just a household name, man. He is a brand,
Absolutely.
I did see a picture the other day. I thought, I was like, I had to look twice at it, but it was. KVD announced that upon his retirement, he's going to take up his lifelong passion of becoming a NASCAR driver. But no, I don't think so. Man, aside from that, the first Canadian in fishing history won the Bassmaster Classic. Guess Jeff Gustafsson.
Yep.
Man, that was. I'm sure that guy was an emotional wreck going into that all day of day 3. I mean, just 2 fish. I mean, yeah. I didn't look at the history to see the stats if that's ever been, if that's ever happened before, where on day 3 a guy with only 2 fish, ended up still winning. But that usually doesn't happen, man. On day 3, if you only catch 2, there's somebody that's going to sweep in and take a spot. Scott Canterbury almost did. The other guy that ended up second, he was right there. But big news, big deal for Canada. That's awesome. some other things going on right now, but the Bassmaster Opens, are on Toledo Bend, and they are wrecking them. There are some big weights. YouTuber Ben Milliken, he's proven to everybody that he's got what it takes to do well in the Opens. He's on a track to be fishing in the elites next year if he continues up. I think this is their second tournament, and you follow. I think he got second or third, something like that. So. Man, it's good to see Toledo Bend, doing well. There's 223 boats in there. Not everybody's catching them, but if you look at the top 50, top 70, top 60, somewhere in there, a lot of people are catching really good bags either today or yesterday. So that's some good stuff. And let's shift gears just a little bit. Bassmaster. I'm sorry, the kayak series. There's some ebbs and flows there, one could say. Let's see, Cody Hughes, anyone fishing the team fishing circuit on Sunday?
I had a guy come through the store today that is.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's the one because he was saying that they were off limits for the next 2 days, today and tomorrow, and he was thinking because his original plan was he was going fishing today and couldn't go fish. So.
Okay. What lake is that on?
Pickwick.
Okay. Good deal. Seth's wearing out the striped bass up there in Catfish Hoss. That's awesome, man. Those are always exciting. So Hobie Bass Open Series, we're talking about the kayak, tournament trails. Seeing a little bit of decline in participation this year on the Hobie BOS side. Bassmaster is doing really well, led by Steve Owens. With his rookie year in the tournament director seat with the Bassmaster series. Definitely not a rookie when it comes to running kayak tournaments, but he is doing an excellent job. One thing that really stood out to me about and Steve, he's a people person. He is an angler of the anglers. He's right there. He's been a part of this growth in this sport just as much as everybody else has been. So one thing that stood out to me was at the Gunnersville event, he's up there, at the board check, just hanging out, shaking everybody's hand, talking with everybody, just making new people feel welcome. So that was really cool. We had over 200 anglers fishing in that event on Gunnersville. I mean, compare that to what is taking place on Toledo Bend right now. That's equivalent. So you got 200 people. Doesn't mean take the entry fee out of that. Let's look at this for a second. Remove the entry fee. The difference is there. You have 220 something people that are going to an area, a town, a lake, and renting Airbnbs, buying gas, buying groceries, buying food. That is huge. I mean, that is, the local economy. They don't care what your entry fees were. They care how much money you're spending in their town. And so that was really big. This weekend they got the Bassmaster Kayak Series event going on Lake Hartwell, and then at the end of this month, actually in a couple of weeks, we will be down at Bainbridge, Georgia, Lake Seminole for the fourth. I believe third or fourth tournament of the Hobie Bass Open Series. But David, I want you and I have talked about this, and one of the things that we're kind of seeing is some changes in the fishing industry. There may have been some buzz around this topic, but you being someone that is constantly in the industry, selling kayaks, selling product, or not, you're seeing those ebbs and flows. You're a part of it. What's your thoughts? As we're coming out, they just announced the other day that the pandemic is officially over. Yeah, we'll leave that conversation for another day. But and I didn't fact check that. I'll just put that out there. I did not fact check that. I was listening to another podcast yesterday, and they said that. So if you want to check on that for sure yourself, you can do that. But what are your thoughts on this, man? Coming out of this, where do you see the fishing industry going in the next couple of years?
So I'm going into a whole other little political piece there. I mean, we're coming there. They're beginning to officially announce that we're going into a recession. The beauty of a recession is the fishing and the hunting industries tend to be a little bit safe. You don't have to worry too much about it. People are still going to fish. They're still going to hunt. It'll be actually probably good for tackle resellers, those kind of things, just because if you can't go out and buy a big old bass boat, you can go out and buy something that's a little bit cheaper, be it a kayak or be it a fishing tackle or be it whatever. So one of the things that but we've seen, last year we saw a little bit of a downturn from the previous COVID years in kayak sales. This year we're pretty flat. We're right where we were last year, so I'm happy with that. What we're seeing is we're selling more of the lower end kayaks. So more of our recreational kind of guys are guys that are fun fishing. I'm selling a lot of kayaks right now to crappie fishermen, which I think is the coolest thing in the world.
That's cool.
So we're seeing more of that than we are my tournament guys coming in and buying PA-14s and Outbacks and some of the higher end stuff. So still selling a lot of Hobies, but we're selling some of the Passports and some of the Lynxes and some of those. So some of the more recreational kind of stuff. So selling a lot of fishing tackle. I'm not surprised at all. The other thing I'm seeing in the industry is fishing tackle is a lot more readily available than it has been in 3 years now. That tells me there's not as many people buying them, maybe in general, but I got a feeling, I think it's more just production has caught up with where they were. So
yeah, and that's, unlike other industries that require computer chips and steel and a lot of material to make these their inventory. You've got plastisol going into soft plastics. So fortunately, a lot of that was just catching up to inventory. Now I understand reels and rods and stuff are different. But a lot of what we need to make a fishing lure is pretty basic. So I'm definitely enjoying seeing the inventory back on the shelf. During COVID is like, dude, you had to be at your store or any other retailer when the inventory arrived. If you wanted to have a chance at getting the color that you wanted or whatever the case may be. And I know that varies. That varied a lot from state to state, area to area, but it is definitely nice to not have to worry about inventory anymore. I'm really excited, man. I think kind of looking at it from, that aspect is like, a lot of the people that were buying up a lot of stuff, during COVID, boats, kayaks, fishing equipment, these people were doing that because they were restricted on what they could do and where they could go.
Right.
And a lot of those people, they weren't necessarily, diehard fishermen, diehard, outdoorsmen, hunters, and whatnot. So those people that are, now getting out, over the past, year and a half, and getting back into their comfort zone, going and doing these things that they were doing before, visiting restaurants and spending money elsewhere. It's kind of like, they're kind of, leaving the fishing rods in the garage and, not doing that as much. So, as tournament participation really increases, it seems like there's so many tournaments just going on all the time, in every division, and so I'm selfishly, I'm like, I'm kind of glad we're coming out of this, pandemic, and all these people that were just kind of doing it for the moment are not really out there as much. I know that it was really great for the retailers and stuff because you guys were selling the snot out of stuff. So, but so another piece of this that we're kind of seeing going on in the sport right now is you're having some elites, and we've kind of seen this a little bit. But Greg DePalma, he won the first Bassmaster Series event on Gunnersville. And what kind of stood out to me was that he openly said like I'm only doing this for money. It's not like he's trying to make a career out of kayak fishing. He's fishing the elites. So this is just supplemental income, and I would say it's kind of a damn good supplemental income because I think he took home like $13,000 to $16,000 out of 220 something people. But what do you think, man? Do you think that we're gonna, it's one thing for, say, a guy to jump in KBF event. I forget his name. It'll come back to me here in a minute. 13 Fishing Pro. If you guys know what I'm talking about, drop in the comments. But he went and fished a KBF event on, what was it, Lake Ontario or something? One of those northern lakes up there. It's like in his backyard, and just and I think he won it. I'm pretty sure he won it. But it was really discreet. It was almost like, you just kind of understood that he was kind of doing that, to kind of, help promote the sport, this and that. But when you have somebody openly say, like, yeah, I'm really just doing this for money. What do you think, David? Do you think that's going to start attracting more elites to, in their spare time, come over here and try and fish kayak tournaments? And,
Yeah. I mean, I think you might see a little bit more of it. Here's the deal. I mean, not every angler is going to want to fish in a kayak. I mean, and not every angler that's fishing on the elite level is going to take the time to go learn to fish out of a kayak. And not every angler is going to do well. I mean, Iaconelli has fished several kayak events and not done as well as you would expect him to do. There's been other pro anglers jump in one and win one, and there's been other pro anglers jump in one and do bad. I mean, there's a learning curve to fishing in a kayak. So if it's not something they're doing every once in a while, they may struggle with it. Look, I'm still trying to figure it out after 2 years.
Yeah, but the Bassmaster Series, you can use a motor, and he had a motor in his Old Town.
That makes a difference.
Makes a huge difference. Especially you're sitting on points, fishing on fishing channel swings. Channel intersections, shallow channel intersections, and stuff like that. Throwing a trap like he was, it's really easy. You just motor out there and hit that anchor lock button. But let me ask you this, man. I after Eufaula, Brandon Palmer and I were on, and we're going to have him on here soon to talk about his new rod from Little Miami Outfitters. But we were, in our kind of stubbornness or just kind of post-tournament frustration, we're like, we're never fishing Hobie again because they're not allowing motors. Now, that doesn't necessarily affect the ability to catch fish, this and that. In my case, I put it in a ramp that I did not know had current, and I'm heading down to my spot. I'm doing 6 miles an hour. I'm like, dang, there's some current here. I really do not want to have to pedal back against that.
Right.
But, as we progress through this, man, my concern is more and more people that are getting into the sport, they're going to just kind of go to the Bassmaster side because they allow motors. Do you think that we're going to see Hobie, take that up and make that adjustment within the BOS series?
I would be surprised if we did anytime soon, but there's always that possibility. I would think for Hobie to do that piece is, I got a feeling there's going to have to be some kind of motor partnership over and above like their Evolve or some of the motors that they sell right now. I would be surprised otherwise. Or there's going to have to be enough external pressure from dealers, the big dealers that sell Hobie, that also sell. I mean, look, I sell as many freaking trolling motors as I do boats anymore. I rig as many trolling motors, and there's money for dealers to make selling trolling motors, selling lithium batteries, selling, all the other. I mean, we added Yak Gadget. We're constantly adding new pieces of accessories. I mean, so a trolling motor is an accessory, and it's a high ticket accessory.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised that over the next year or so, if enough dealers give Hobie enough grief about it, that might happen. But we'll see.
Here's my thing on it, and I'll leave this short and sweet. The Pro Angler has been a very sought after boat for a long time, and people are adding motors to them. It's not just the 360 drive or the 180 drive that attracts people. It's the layout, it's the stability, it's the storage, it's just how big the boat is, it's everything about the boat. It's a good boat. So I don't think that they would see a decline in sales from if they started allowing motors in their tournament series. I think that they would continue to sell just as many kayaks as they are now because they have one of the best platforms in the industry. I really like the Old Town Autopilot. I think that's a great. I think that's a great platform. I mean, the sidewalls on that thing are super deep. I mean, it looks really stable, and that's a contender, you know. But a lot of people like the Hobie because of everything else that it offers. So let's quit beating around the bush, Hobie, and let's allow these motors in these tournaments. I'm just saying it.
Yeah.
I'm not shy about it anymore, David. I'm just going to start saying this stuff.
But, yeah, well, I don't think they'll have to in order to survive. I think there's enough tournaments being ran. I'm gonna say this: the way tournaments are ran, and the people who run them will sell a tournament by itself. And AJ, though, he is a very dry character. He has done such a good job with it that I don't think they would ever have any trouble. Now with Steve being on the bass side, I think what we're seeing is some separation and some guys saying, "Oh, well, I don't necessarily have to go to Hobie to go fish a big event." So now we're going to see guys kind of separate a little bit. But what's cool about that is it's going to give us two really strong kayak groups that we can go fish big money tournaments and don't necessarily have to drive 14 hours to go fish one. We can fish 6 and within 6 hours of us.
Yeah.
I mean, which I said last year was going to be my ultimate. I was not going to fish anything past 6, but now it looks like I'm going to end up fishing 2 or 3 that are like 14 plus. So anyway, it is what it is because of timing. I mean, it's just been this spring has been hard for me to get out.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, as long as those as long as the payouts, first place is paying, at Lake Hartwell, that their participation is a little bit lower in this event compared to Bassett, compared to Gunnersville. But first place is paying out $10,000. Yeah. So as long as that 1 and 4 zeros is behind it, plus
people are going to fish.
People are going to freaking fish, and you can best believe that motors, the eligibility of motors or the lack thereof is going to play a part in that. Let's see, any comments in here. Yeah, Power Pole. I mean, Power Pole's been partnered with Hobie for a long time with their trolling motors.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, yeah, they do have a new trolling motor out.
They do have a new trolling motor. We'll see.
Power Pole move.
So the one they had at the Classic was more geared to the Bassmaster, but I do know that one of the guys is a kayak guy that's involved with Power Pole, and they were talking about him mounting it to the front of his Hobie. So, it may be coming. There may be one in development that we haven't heard about yet.
Do you know how much that trolling motor is? $5,000. Yeah, I'm not cutting the shaft on a $5,000 trolling motor.
No, there's nobody doing modifications.
Heck no. I wasn't going to do that on a $1,200 trolling motor. I'm glad they came out with the XI3 kayak version, but
which is a great platform. I mean, we sell a ton of them. I love them.
Yeah. All right, so moving on, we got the new release of the Little Miami Outfitters continuing to evolve their line of rods. Brandon Palmer does a really good job. He's got some really good rods out there now. David sells them in the store. The Proteus line of rods have been the staple with a 7-foot, 7'3", 7'6". And there's a 7'2" spinning action rod, all very durable, guys. I'm telling you, these things I have scraped the bottom of causeways. I have went up underneath docks with these things, not intentionally. Almost been at a 90-degree angle, and these things are just tough. And the sensitivity of them are excellent. The action of them, the taper of these rods are really good. And to add to that is their new Nereus. I'm probably saying that a little bit wrong. It is a 6/8 medium action rod with a medium taper. So this thing is built for all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to talk too much about it. We're going to get Brandon Palmer on here right now and let him tell you guys about it.
Fellas. First of all, hey, David. Hey, Justin. I want to touch on this motor thing.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, y'all see that sun just shining on my face like first of all, I'll admit it. I'm a crybaby about it, man.
Love it.
1,000%.
You said it, not me.
David, I beat you to it. I beat you to it, my friend. And I just, when you throw weather like this year's been so far for, well, any of us that have gone from
Oh man.
from Florida to Gunnersville, from all of them, it's just been, weather's been a factor to where it would have totally changed. But I guess that's part of the game, And like David was saying, I never really looked at it as if, if you want to fish those, there's no cap on the Bassmaster, so they'll take as many people as they want. They want to do that, ride that motor train. So it's like, it's going to be interesting. But I also like the point of there being sponsors behind Hobie with this thing, because it's like, I forgot about the power pole motor. I didn't even think of that. It's like, so the two of your biggest sponsors, you don't use them, it'll be interesting for sure.
And it's not just, Bassmaster versus Hobie, it's every grassroots trail allows these things too. People are just getting accustomed to it, man. In American history, once we get conveniences, dude, it's like, if McDonald's can make a burger, in 30 seconds flat, but it takes Wendy's to do it in a minute and a half, where are you going? Where are you going? You're going to go to McDonald's, but it's just, one could also argue, you could look at it from a safety standpoint. I'll just say this: how many times have we heard, the story of, man, I was about to have a heart attack, or I felt like I was about to have a heart attack or something. I felt really medically ill. There was no way that I would be able to walk to the hospital, but thank God I was in my vehicle and I could still drive myself there. If a situation happened, arrived out on the water, and you were incapable of pedaling or paddling yourself back to safety, but you had that motor there, your fingers could still work, your hand might could still work to where you could at least get yourself back to safety. One could make that argument. And if I was in front of a panel, I would, but.
Yeah. I mean, I also like it for the fact that if I zip out on a tournament, I don't have to pedal my ass back to the ramp. I got a motor that can take me back, so the pain will stop a little bit easier and quicker, man. I'm not ready to sell all my crap. I'm not ready to sell it all. Then I'm like, all right, I got back quick. Okay, I sit in my drive.
That might be the worst excuse I've heard yet.
No, it's brilliant. The last thing that you want to do after you just sucked all day is have to pedal yourself back to the ramp.
Have people seen y'all out of breath? How'd you do?
Come up with that one.
So I love you, dude.
Oh, that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Well, man, you're at what did you say, the Green River, New Green River, something like that?
Green River Lake, Kentucky.
Green River Lake. Okay.
It's right on the border of Kentucky and Tennessee. It's beautiful here, man. The waters that they have down here, just 3 hours south of where I live, it's kind of like getting into the, that Tennessee River feel. For whatever reason, I heard it was for spring flood reasons today. They lowered this lake 4 feet this week. They were catching 25-pound bags in it for the last 2 weeks. We get here. Yeah, it looks like the tide went out in Alaska, dude. It is crazy. And I mean, they've just shut down the spawn. They're right in the middle of the spawn. They're moving up. They want to do their thing, but it's out of whack. But it's beautiful here. It's the Bluegrass Kayak Anglers. That's the club we're fishing this weekend.
That's a great club, man.
Well,
we you and I have been I've been fortunate to just have conversation with you over the past year about this new Nereus rod. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Greek mythology. You got it.
Greek mythology. So if you want to learn more on that, look it up. But
that's right,
man, you've really, it's taken you quite a while for this thing to come out. You've had to make some adjustments with your suppliers and just with the rod itself and just getting it perfect. And I know that you're somebody that's pretty particular about how you build your rods, quality components, Fuji guides. But man, get into the the idea, the history, and just everything surrounding this new rod that you got coming out.
Sure, man. The history comes off of, I said it once, I say it a million times. It comes from watching David down there at Pickwick when he was flushing 20s right in front of me. Barely moving and working, and his effortless cast and how he was retrieving it was just something I'll never forget, because I was like, both of my shoulders were just burning on fire. This man sitting there just pop, 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 flushing 20. So I just wanted a concept like that, and I love the short handle that he was able to do it with. That's what really got me, because all of us being in the kayak, we all know that handle gets in the way of it. Gets caught in your armpit shirt, your sleeves. You hit it on your seat. Yes, I'm complaining about it because
No,
I have
those
to.
are
I'm here
facts.
for the people, man. I'm here for the people. So I just said, you know what? I'm going with it. That's what I want to do. So I did the 6.9. It's got the 8.5-inch handle on it. I went with the swell on the, let me see here, on the grip. I know you guys probably got your hands on them by now, Dave and Justin, but it really helps cuff that palm. I just couldn't have put. I just didn't want the long taper or the long grip. The EVA. I just wanted something that would basically seat your hand in it. That way, however you're fishing it, it's not moving. With the guides, obviously went back with the Fuji. Let's see here. Nope. There. Fuji Alkanite. Like you said, Justin, these things are indestructible. We've all filed those tip tops. Whether it's in the garage, or just anywhere. I mean, it's like they are indestructible. You can't bend them. I'm really happy about them. For the locking seat, real grip, all that good stuff. Went with a custom piece. It's obviously it's dialed in. Keeps it. I mean, just buttoned up. I've got a this is a Shimano Metanium on there. I put on there today, but let's talk about the taper a little bit. Hang on, let me back up. I know you guys haven't gotten a chance to throw them yet, but I was reeling in spots today, spots and white bass. The thing just kept loading. I was throwing this little finesse bladed jig on it. That's the 8th or the 3/16. I just couldn't.
Micro chatterbait.
It's a jackal.
Okay.
They're phenomenal. They're more subtle, and when it comes through the water, it almost makes it look like there's a small school of bait fish. It really does. The way that it moves, I don't think they can pick it out what it actually is. And I mean, it doesn't have the lawnmower blade like the 1/2-ounce jackhammers and all that come through there. But the way that it was loading today, as I was just either set the hook or I was watching this, to watch the taper is one thing when you bend it on the floor, but when either a spot or a white bass get a hold of it, I couldn't have asked for two better fish to really take off on this, this maiden voyage on this thing. And it's awesome. I'm happy with it. I really am. 6.9, went with the medium fast. I know it's probably a little bit less of a taper than what a traditional jerkbait rod is, but I've thrown everything from, I did put a jerkbait on it. I've put Fritz sides on it. I put square bills. I threw the bladed jig on it yesterday. I put just about anything. I put a Ned rig on it. Just anything you could like skip, get quick with it, and get it back in the water is what I wanted. And going away from I'm not going away from the 7, 3 wands, but I mean, it's just more compact and lethal, in my opinion. And like I said, top water, I haven't had a chance to throw a top water yet, but it's coming tomorrow, actually, tomorrow morning.
That was the first thing. I threw it a little bit yesterday in the neighborhood pond with a 5/16 ounce finesse spinnerbait. But that's one thing that I was really excited about for this rod was, top water, little smaller spooks, pop bars. So Trent, if you're listening, man, this would be just phenomenal Popar rod. But the thing that stood out to me is that it's got that perfect balance between not too flimsy. It's not a very flimsy rod like you would think with a medium action.
Right, exactly.
But it has enough parabolic and load to it that you can launch these. You can launch a lighter bait. I haven't thrown a jerk bait on it either, but you made me another one that I've thrown that was kind of like a prototype type deal. It was a little bit more of a medium moderate, but for a regular half ounce jerk bait, dude, it's killer for that. But those bigger style jerk baits, the 5/8 ounce, 3/4 ounce, like those larger size jackals and whatnot, I was like a little concerned with throwing that. But this rod, it seems like it will definitely handle both of those just phenomenally. So, But your idea for this, with a lot of your rods is kind of multi-purpose, keeping the amount of rods down in your boat. You're not big on carrying a whole lot yourself, so it kind of aligns with what a lot of kayak anglers, whether they want to carry more rods or not, it's just kind of what they're forced to do is carry less rods. We just don't have a rod locker with 20 rods in it. So, but yeah, go ahead.
Right. No, you're exactly right. I mean, from what to get spun out is an understatement when you've got so many options and you really don't know what you want to do. And it's like with this, my approach was, okay, you put 4 of these in the boat. You use typically the same size of line for a lot of stuff, like your spinner baits to your bladed jigs. Okay, any of that stuff where you're going 12, sometimes 14. It gets it done. And today I was throwing it on 15-pound Smackdown with that 10-pound Bushido fluoro.
Yeah,
I threw everything from the 8th all the way up to a 5/16 on it. And was able to fish. Yes, you do have to tie longer leaders, but because I'm not saying that's but that's part of it, man. I'd rather have less rods than have so many that it's unnecessary, and we don't have a lot of room on these things, so it's it just makes more sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, we all find ourselves in those situations. The more and more that our lakes get pounded with tournaments, the more and more we're having to resort to finesse application. So it's not a bad idea to have a designated rod in your kayak for, not only being able to throw like a DT6, like smaller crankbaits like David was suggesting with this rod when we were talking on the shop yesterday, but that top water, we're getting into that season where top water is really going to be playing. But then you could swap it over and throw a shaky head or even, throw a wacky rig on it. So I know you put a lot of work into it, and I know you're really excited about it. So these things are available now. David's got some up at the shop. David, how much inventory do you have on these?
I got 4 or 5 of them in the shop. I think I've got 5 right now, but one of them probably not going to hit the floor. I'll let Brandon know what I think about it on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I've already been playing with it a little bit. I'm excited to have it. It fits right in with what I've been doing with my rods as far as all the custom stuff I've been having built from my buddy Spain, and it fits right into that category. I mean, and it feels so good in your hand. I've already got a reel spooled up on it. I'm just anxious to get out there Sunday morning and play with it a little bit, see what I think. It feels good. I've got a feeling it's going to be right there where I want it. I've already got some ideas for what I want to be able to do with it. I've got some little specific specialty things I want to do with it. I'm anxious to try it though. So
I threw a Fritz side today, David. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, today. And the Otts OG Tiny Slim.
Yeah.
Wrecked them on it.
Well,
it was pretty awesome.
This is the time of year I start throwing some little bit smaller top waters and some things that are a little more subtle. As we're getting into that post spawn piece, and I've got some little really ticky things that I do with them, because they're really light and they're hard to cast. And so I'm anxious to try that little Pop X with it and play with that a little bit. So,
heck yeah. Let me know how you do.
Yeah. So, Brandon, man, anything else you want to add? And guys, we're going to be giving away not a Nereus, but we're going to be giving away a 7'3" medium heavy action rod. The details on that, on how you can win that rod, is going to be coming up real soon. So be sure to tune in for it. Stay tuned for that. But anything new on the, anything else looking forward, a year, 2 years from now, anything else new that you're working on that you want to talk about now or not?
I'm going to do a heavy action. I know I said I was going to kind of stick to the middle of the road, but talking with two other guys in particular, it's like a heavy, one heavy action rod wouldn't kill. So like a good frogging rod, a good, possibly a swim bait rod. But those things are like wands. They're so high and tall, but that's more the custom end of things. The more that I would like to focus on as far as futuristic would be probably just the heavy moderate.
Yeah.
Would probably be a good piece. Yeah, at least a 7.2. That'd be something good to have, I think.
Yeah.
Well, even if you had one of each of your rods, that would be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and with a heavy action,
5.
that would be 6 rods.
Yeah,
Dude, you can pretty much cover the whole gamut with that. So,
right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I would say that's not a bad idea. Well, dude, we appreciate you coming on, man. We know you got some rigging to do. Get prepared for your tournament tomorrow, so we won't keep you too much. But just greatly appreciate you coming on and talking about this rod. I'm enjoying it so far. I can definitely see a lot of uses for it, and I think you guys should go up and check it out. If you're in the area, go and see David up at Primary Tackle. That's Wilson. Or if you'd like to order from Brandon, that's Little Miami Outfitters. .com. You can go and buy those rods from him. And I saw that you have your first order is 10% off. So
that's right.
Can't
there you
beat
go.
that. All right, man. Well, we'll sign off with you, and good seeing you. Good luck tomorrow.
Good luck,
See you,
buddy.
fellas. Good seeing you. Take it easy. Yeah.
All right. So, we got a question from David Walker. I love this question. I love it because I've gotten some comments from people on the water before, like, hey man, you got enough rods in that boat, or hey man, how many rods do you need? I'm sure you've heard it too. We only get these comments from bass boaters talking to kayak anglers because, and I get it, we're in a much smaller vessel, but the question on the table is how many rods is too many on a kayak, in our opinion? David, you go first.
Well, I am the quintessential keep it freaking simple. I typically carry 5 to 6, and if I've got 5 to 6 on the boat, it means I'm not really happy because that means I got too dang many to suit me. I want to. I want to know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. But 6,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, 6 is kind of that magic number. I if I get any more than 6, I just feel like too cluttered. But dude, I've seen guys work efficiently with 11 or 12 in their boat. And I mean, in a bass boat, but here's the silly part. Even in a bass boat, I still only had 6, typically.
Yeah.
But it's just because of the way I fish as much as anything. I'm a very simple kind of angler. But other people, I was fixing to mention somebody, but other people that I know will have 20 to 30.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty big tackle boxes, storage boxes on the back of some of these kayaks, like almost full-size coolers on the back with about 15 to 20 rods. And my answer is whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Because that's basically what it boils down to. Everybody, like David, you've got a handful of baits that you're going to rotate through. If they don't bite that, then
I'm going to rotate your back through them again.
Rotate it back to the ramp and go grab a 6er.
There you go. That works good. That'd be a first.
And for me, I mean, I like the convenience of having different variations already tied on. That way I'm not spending that extra time, cutting the bait off and then rigging it up. My thing is, you can go down a bank and you can run across 5 different ways to fish, 5 different pieces of cover. You can run across a bush, or you can run across a laydown, you can run across some rock. You can run across a bluff stretch. There's, a lot of different ways, a lot of different baits that would be the most efficient, at fishing all of those, with some exceptions. But so that's my deal. Joel Spear says he used to carry 10 to 15 to save on retie time, down to 3 now and catch more fish. I love it. Cody Hughes, 8 is all you need, specialty as a co-angler. That's great experience. I mean, makes a really good point there. And of course, Trent Harris, there's only one bait that you need.
Trent, you got to try this new rod.
Hey, Trent's time is here.
Yeah, he already catching them right now.
Yeah, Trent's about to cash some checks with WTBY. And I hope that you do too, buddy. So yeah, I mean, it's just kind of really what you're comfortable with, man. So everybody, just in the comments so far, just kind of has their different experiences that that lend them to the way that they fish now. So whatever you're comfortable with. It was on last night. I bet. Yeah, dude, it's there, man. I need to get out more myself. So here's what we're going to be giving away that rod here in just probably about 10 to 15 minutes. But let's talk real quick, David. You got the Spring Kickoff Sale coming up at the store April 23rd. Drop us some knowledge on what you guys are going to be doing for the local community up there.
So on April the 23rd, we're going to have our little Spring Kickoff Sale. It's really not so much even a sale as much as it is just an event. We're always trying, one of the big things in this building is we have to do events in order to draw people here, be it in Arlington in April or to be it whatever it may be. But, our buddy Jimmy Washam's going to be here with his boat, signing some autographs, seeing some people, it's a great opportunity to come out, meet him. If you haven't met him before, super nice guy, ultra knowledgeable, great guide on Pickwick. All around, just worth a visit. We're gonna have Justin here. He's gonna be here for those guys that haven't met him.
Well, we're gonna be up there just talking some kayak fishing.
We're gonna be talking some kayak fishing. We're gonna have a bunch of boats on display. I'm already have started rigging a few boats, with EPS motors and rigging some boats with some XI3s on them, so you can see what those kind of kayaks look like and what you can kind of envision there. So we're just trying to kind of give everybody an opportunity to come out and do some things. And then one of the other pieces that we're going to do, and this is one of those pieces that's near and dear to my heart, and you guys all know this. I helped start 901 High School Bass Club, and we're going to be giving away free tackle to every kid under 18 that attends this event. So, this is a great encouragement for dads to bring the kid out, come see us, come visit, come talk to the fishermen that are going to be here. So just trying to kind of make it, that little kickoff. And we're going to have some great deals while we're here. I've got some things on tap. We'll be announcing as we get a little bit closer. We'll have some new products here as well. We'll have some of the new Hobie sunglasses here. We'll have some new Fisk sunglasses here that are already here. I just don't have them on display yet. Some neat pieces there. We're going to have all kinds of stuff. So come see us. I mean, I think it'll be a great event for everybody that comes out. It'll be fun. We may be doing a few other little things. I'm working on some stuff there too. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. And my sponsor, Corky's Barbecue, is jumping in. We're going to be giving out some Corky's bucks. So the first 10 individuals to between the hours of 1 and 4 p.m. that purchase something fishing or kayak, related is going to get $20 in Corky's bucks. So that is essentially the same as cash money. You can take that to Corky's restaurant, take your family, and you've got half your tab already paid for. So we want you to go and get in there, enjoy some good barbecue. So again, that's the first 10 customers to make a fishing or kayak fishing related purchase. So any tackle, kayak accessories, anything between the hours of 1 and 4 is going to get $20 in Corky's Bucks. So you guys come out, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully the weather is good. We tried to do something like this last year towards the end of the season, and the weather just dumped on us literally. So we need some redemption. So come out, man. There's already been quite a few people that have said they're going to be coming out. So we look forward to seeing each and every one of you. So let's do this real quick. I want to give away this rod. We got quite a few people on right now, at least enough to make it interesting. And we're doing this live, so you guys have a really good chance, at winning this rod. We're giving away a 7'3" medium heavy action rod from Little Miami Outfitters. So it's that Proteus line of rods. Great chatterbait, spinnerbait, moving bait rod, even a great dragging Texas rig jig rod. Just a super, super diverse rod. Usually retail about $150.
$159, $169 is usually we run them.
Somewhere in that range, but really great rod. And this is courteous of David up at S.Y. Wilson and Primary Tackle. So here's what we're going to do, guys. You got, we know some of you are going to have to jump on the old Google, so no worries in that. But whoever can tell us, the 3 consecutive years that Kevin Van Dam won the Angler of the Year title, first in the comments with that answer, with the correct answer, wins this rod.
We're going to use your comments or mine?
They should be. Yours might be uploading faster, but we will see. So that's again, Kevin Van Dam, the 3 consecutive years that he won the Angler of the Year title. He won Angler of the Year, I believe, 8 or 9 years, but there's only 3 years there that he won it consecutively. Let's see. But man, this is a lot of fun so far. We're gonna be talking about the St. Jude Kayak Open coming up next.
We're talking a little bit about Herb Parsons, Cody.
Yep. Talk a little bit about Herb. We're going to talk a little bit about Pickwick. We're going to cover some. Let's see.
Walker gave us 4 years, and then Joel Spear gave us 3 years.
Yeah, let's see.
Trent gave us 3
but
years.
I haven't gotten that 3rd year yet.
I have it. According
to
what Joel had it according to what I was looking at. I mean, Walker gave us an extra though. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. You know what? Yeah. So I think it goes to. I think it actually is. It's going to have to go to David because it's actually 4 years.
Was it actually 4?
Dude, such a brain fart on my end, man. Yes, it's actually 4 years consecutively. 2008, 2009, 2010, and 2011. So, David Walker, congratulations, man. You're going to get that rod. We will mail that out to you. Or if you're in the area, if you're going to stop by, just let us know, and we can get it to you one way or the other. So,
All right. Yeah.
Dave. Yeah, 2011 also, Joel.
Joel sees it.
Yeah. So, but he did answer the question correctly, one way or the other. He was the first one.
He got it exactly correct.
Yes. So
more correct than Justin did.
More correct than I did. So we'll just be clear. We were trying to come up with a question and last minute. And I was finishing up some dinner, and I was like, dude.
We have screwed up about a half a dozen questions. So.
Yeah.
We still did.
But in all actuality, know that David Walker He was the first one to
Good
answer
job,
the
David.
court record. All right, so moving on, man. Let's talk about the St. Jude Kayak Open, dude. I'm really excited about this tournament because we're getting some really good giveaways that that we're adding to this. You know, not only that, man, but it's for but it's just for an awesome cause, man. And I'm really excited to see the participation from this, from the sponsorship level. I'm being overachiever too. Well, you did good by that, David. So yeah, that was just a little bit of an oversight on my end, looking at the Google. So, anyways, but St. Jude Kayak Open. This is our second year running. It's going to be on Enid Lake, and that is May the 26th.
26 or 27?
May the 27th.
Yeah.
I was thinking 26 because of what we were talking the other day. So May 27th on Enid Lake, 1-day event. So we moved it back from Sunday to Saturday. So for anybody that wants to fish, you know, both the kayak side and the bass boat side, you can do both. And you know, David, you know, we've gotten some really good, awesome, you know, some really awesome prizes. We are giving away a Hobie Passport 12. This is a 2022 model. So it is the non-roto molded model, but still, I mean, a phenomenal kayak, man. You can't ask for anything more. We gave one away last year, correct? Was that the 10-footer?
No, that was the 12. Ron Butler won that one. So it's you know, I have an anonymous donor who's agreed to pay for it, so that's really freaking awesome. Didn't ask for anything, doesn't want anybody to know who it is, that kind of thing. So I appreciate him if he happens to see this. You know, we've had a bunch of others begin to start stepping up and giving us some great prizes to go in the prize packs. You know, there's one of my vendors here from Pro Guide has given me a 50 amp hour 12 volt trouble motor battery. It's a little bigger one than what the one we sell a lot of time here. It's really rated almost to a 60 amp hour, so it's a $500-600 battery. I've had you know, the guys at Yak Gadget have given us a few pieces. There's a few other guys giving me some pieces. I'm not announcing a lot of it yet till I get some final numbers. But we got a lot of stuff coming, and so we're gonna have some really great prizes in the prize packs. You had a nice one. Are you ready to announce that one, or?
Yeah, I think I'm comfortable enough to announce it. So this is kind of a different one, but so anybody that would like to, you know, differentiate themselves from all the other pro anglers or autopilots out there, BRD Custom, they actually have done the skin, or what most people call it, a wrap. He calls it a skin because it's a 2-piece design. But he's giving away either a skin or a graphics package to the cause. So we're going to determine what placing that will be. That may be a big bass prize, but that's something cool. So for anybody that has sponsors, they want to show them off, represent them in a great way. He does a really excellent job. He uses 3M material, but it's super thick. I think it's like 6 millimeter thick, so it's super thick, really durable. I've scraped mine against really sharp edges, trees and brush and stuff like that. It holds up really well. So that is coming from BRD Custom, and we'll have some more information on that as that develops. But yeah, I mean, this whole deal is, it's not so much just about being able to give away, but that's what we're able to do for you guys, for getting involved in it, because this is a charitable thing. There's not a lot of money to be won and stuff like that. I mean, there's some great prizes that we're getting. So we're solely dependent and reliant on, donors, sponsorship donations and stuff like that from all these great companies in the industry that want to donate to the cause. So that's how we're able to award you guys for coming out and doing well in the tournament. Again, Ron Butler Sr. Won the Passport 12 last year, we gave away some other little Miami Outfitters rods and some prize money too. So there is some money on the line for that second through sixth place as of now. So here's the thing, guys. I get a lot of questions. I'm sure David does too. What are we giving out? What are the prizes? What are this and that? I'm sure there's just a lot of questions revolving around it. And this thing changes, it changes. So the more we get from, sponsors and this and that, the more we can pay out, the further down the line we can pay out. So, as we get closer and closer to that, we will definitely, have it dialed in exactly what you guys are fishing for outside of just, coming out and supporting a great cause. So that entry fee is going to be $100. After April, at the end of this month, the beginning of May, that does go up $120. Historically, that's how they've done it. Now this goes through the Children's for Life nonprofit corporation. That's how they've handled it on the bass boat side. It's an incentive to get you in early so we can get those numbers up and stuff like that, and start to show some sponsors, kind of like who we have, how many we have, and this and that. But so the incentive is to get in now, get in now. But if not, if you want to just donate that extra $20, or if you are just unable to commit to it just yet, but you do want to fish it, then you can wait till after May and pay that $120, and that will be reflected on Tourney X. So as of now, it's $100. Let's talk a little bit about kind of like what to expect with the tournament. David, I know we've both been getting a lot of questions about it. We do have all the details up on Tourney X right now, but there's going to be a little bit of a unique way that we're going to have to handle the board check and stuff like that. So, do you want to speak on that a little bit?
Yeah. So I've got to reconfirm with Todd, but I mean, one of the things that we wanted to do board check. Last year we had board check at the tournament registration on Saturday, and then everybody fished on Sunday. I wanted to make it convenient. I mean, one of the things with these kind of events is we do want to get a board check. You're going to have to bring it to somebody and get a sticker put on there that says St. Jude Bass Classic, Kayak Open, whatever. And you're going to have that sticker on there, but so you're going to have to bring it to somebody. We want this to be as up and up as we can humanly make it for everybody. And you'll get your identifier at 8:00 on Friday night, but you can come to the store, you can come to my store, or you're going to be able to go to our friends down at Mid-South Floats in South Haven for our North Mississippi anglers, so that they don't necessarily have to drive all the way to Arlington, and to give them, it's going to be a little tighter window and time frames to get to them. So we're trying to make it easy, so you'll have that week before the tournament to get to somebody, get your board checked, and make sure you can have that done.
And I will also be down there at the ramp.
Yeah.
You're mentioning that. Okay.
Yeah. And then you're going to do that board check at 7:30 on Friday night. So, right? Was it 7:30 or 7?
Yeah, I'll be down there at 7:30. So, fishing. So to answer a couple of questions real quick, David, to answer your question, you will be able to sign up for this tournament the day before. What do we put it as, David? Gosh.
I think we said 7:00, didn't we? Up to 7:00 that day.
Yeah, we changed it to 7:00 because board check will be at 7:30. You're right.
Yeah. So
7:00 the day before. Pre-fishing cutoff is actually going to be at 7:00. So at 7:00 pre-fishing ends and board check. And registration ends. 7:30 is board check, and then. And then from there, the next day is the fishing day. So I'll be at you can look it up on the Tourney X, but the main boat ramp at Enid, up there by the dam. There's a campground, but it's the main state park boat ramp. I forget what it's called. It's got a weird name, but I'll be there at 7:30 to do board check also, because there's already been some people that have said that they're going to be camping out and stuff like that up there around Enid. Get with David to do a board check or the Mid-South Floats. Some other information about the tournament. So, right around the same time. So, tournament fishing is going to be over at, let's see, we're starting at 6, we're going to be able to launch at 5:30. And lines in is going to be at 6. Lines out is going to be at 2:00. And then you have till 3:00 to do your photo submission, and then 3:30 to be back to the Batesville Civic Center for the award ceremony. So once you get there, we're gonna be set up in the parking lot. Weather permitting. And again, Corky's is sponsoring this event also with the free meal for all the anglers that are participating in it. So once you get back, you'll have a big old plate of barbecue waiting on you as much as you want to eat. The whole shebang. So I mean, it's just going to be a fun time. Anything else that we need to add about the tournament, David, that you can think of?
We'll be doing an official captain's meeting, a little
That's
bit
right.
prior to that. We're going to do a big video with all that information, and then we'll do a really brief one that night, announcing as well the you're going to get your code through Tourney X, but we'll also do a really quick one that evening about 8:00, just at the same time, just so we want to try to give you guys as many ways to get that code and get everything squared away.
Yeah.
The other thing is we encourage everybody to come to that registration. I mean, we want to show the folks at St. Jude that we were really trying to make a positive influence here and really do something special. I mean, this is the 50th anniversary for this event, for the St. Jude Bass Classic. Think about that. That daggum tournament's been running longer than most of you guys have been alive. I mean, barely longer than I've been alive.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's pretty awesome, man. It's pretty cool that the other side of this sport, kayak fishing has grown so much now to that, that we can make an impact, right there along, with the traditional bass boat guys. So, we're at that point. We've got a lot of anglers around here. Even if you aren't planning on fishing it, man, just let somebody know. Tell your buddies. Tell the local hammer that knows where all the hogs are. Man, tell them about it. We want to get everybody out. It's a beautiful area. Last year the fishing was, it was good for some, and and decent for others, and tough on some. And that's every tournament. As this thing progresses, we're having discussion on hopefully trying to move this to either a Pickwick or something of that nature, but we're not going to be able to get there, unless we get that participation, and we're not trying to jam it down your throats. Ultimately it's your decision. But we just would love to have you guys out. It's just, it's a great thing. And, we got some really awesome prizes. So you can walk away with a new boat, a new battery to power your kayak, a new wrap to, differentiate yourself from everybody else, or whatever the case may be. So we're going to continue to add to that. All right, so let's move along a little bit, man. Let's talk some local fishing. Herb Parsons, the boat ramp is back in. David, I've seen that the water levels, are coming back up. Do we know if they're back up to full pool?
I have not heard that they're back up to full pool. They were within 3 foot of the top of the tower. But I mean, look, I don't care if they're full pool. I'm seeing pictures. I'm hearing from people that are catching fish. So I wouldn't be wasting my time. I'd be going over there and catching a couple of them fish. So if it was me. Matter of fact, that's where I'll be Sunday morning if you want to see me.
I'll be over there tomorrow morning, hopefully.
Well, I have somewhere I have to be tomorrow, as usual.
Yeah.
So I'll be out. If you want to come see me, you'll have to come to the Shelby Forest Spring Fest out on Benjastown Road. They're having an arts and crafts fair and an antique car show and music and food and all that kind of good stuff.
Crawfish boil and beer.
And crawfish boil, beer. I mean, it's gonna be fun. I'll have a cooler there. You can come visit.
I think I might bring the family out there myself. I was looking at it earlier. But yeah, man, the boat ramp looks awesome. I mean, it's just one complete slab. So whereas you had 2 ramps before, one that was a much, greater drop, and the other one that was a little bit smoother of a grade. It's just one slab now. So Did they knock out that little island right there in the middle?
They did.
They
The old
did.
Goose Island is gone. They took all that and moved it over into that point just to kind of shore it up because it was beginning to deteriorate some.
Yeah.
Keeping that out a little bit, so when but people are putting boats in, I mean, for like the herb derbs and some of those things, they'll have a little bit more space to space out some boats. I mean, if we have I kind of foresee us having a couple little herb derb kind of style kayak tournaments this summer. So.
Oh yes, sir. That one that the one that we did was successful.
Tremendous. We had a great success there, and we'll probably do that again. Maybe at least 2 or 3 times this summer. So
I'm up for it, man. I'm about burnt out on traveling, so we can have all the tournaments around here that you want. So moving on, man. Pickwick Lake. Look today. They just had the West Tennessee Bass Yackers were just out there last weekend. Congratulations to Carl Hudson on taking that win. I looked. There was, I heard there was, there's quite a few fish caught. Talked to Ashley about it. He said he caught a lot of fish. He didn't connect with the big ones, but when you're catching a lot of fish, it's letting you know that, man, it's about to get really good. So I looked today, and this is just coming off of I think it's called water temperature, water level, or something. But anyways, just kind of like a general website. Water temperatures today were 61 degrees, and we're looking at 413.5 for the water level. So you're half, you're half a foot there. So from being a full pool. So man, it's about to get really exciting on Pickwick Lake. This is obviously everybody's favorite time to be out there, minus the post spawn fishing. But a couple of things that to look for, David. Coming up on Pickwick Lake. What are some things that outside of the obvious, some bedding fish and whatnot. What area of the lake would you be focusing on? You don't have to give exact locations, but what area of the lake would you be focusing on first? And what are you going to be targeting, and what are you going to be targeting it with?
It's very well known. I'm typically going to target, from Bear Creek down to about 7 Mile Island. That's my area of the lake I love to fish. I love Bear Creek. I've always loved Bear Creek. I've won more money out of Bear Creek than I have anywhere in that lake. So, but there's some good fish to be caught in Yellow. There's some good fish to be caught in other parts of the lake. But I would be looking for those obvious things, those little channel swings going into spawning areas, because the beauty of those kind of places is that's where you're going to catch fish that are coming and going. If they're already done and they're headed out, they're going to stop at the same places they were when they were coming in. You're going to have a multitude of fish there as opposed to being on that spawning flat. Except for this next full moon. So that'll be an old.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And that's coming soon. So, but that's what I'm going to look for. I'm going to look for any kind of those little last stopping points. I've got lots of those that I like to fish. In and out of those spawning areas. And look, at 413.5, frankly, I'm going to be flipping bushes. Just because that's where they are going to be.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm right there with you. I would throw it Indian Creek as well.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Definitely like Indian Creek. Back of that, gets juicy real quick in a hurry. And think about like this, guys. If you got a big old female, and we're talking about bass here, that lives in deeper water, that doesn't want to travel very far. Think about where they would go first.
Yep.
So look for those areas. And you're bound to run across some big ones. But a lot of great fishing to come up, man. I've seen Kentucky Lake has been doing really good with the smallmouth fishing. They, what's his name? Brandon Hunter up there, the local guide who's been, I think he may be one of the only guides still up there, but he still does a phenomenal job, putting out information on Kentucky Lake. I'm really excited to see. We got the Hobie Bass Open Series coming up on there in May. I forget the date on that, but that's about middle late May. And
21st, somewhere in there.
yeah, so anybody locally that the West Tennessee Bass Yackers will also be running a tournament in conjunction with that. It'll just be a 1 day on Saturday, and you can get on their Facebook page WTBY and check out more information on that if you want to double dip in that tournament. But yeah, it's going to be a really good one, man. I hope so, at least. I hope to see the largemouth come show out a little bit. They've been doing a lot of stocking in that lake over the past, for a long time, obviously, but they've definitely been ramping it up over the past few years. Obviously those fish it's going to take them some years to get up to that, 18, 19, 20 inch, mark and whatnot. But, they're going to get there. There may be some that are around that 15 inch, 16, 17 inch mark. So I've seen some good reports from, shad is looking good in the lake. And, I have not been on the lake, so I can't completely vouch for everything. And honestly, it's just a massive lake. There's no way to vouch for it completely. But, there's some good things coming out of that lake, man. Some good reports. So I'm really excited to see, how the kayak guys do in that tournament. Obviously, there's bass boat tournaments that are still going on out there. So looking forward to seeing how that transpires. West Tennessee Bass Yackers, their upcoming tournament is on the 22nd on Browns Creek Lake. So old big Bass Browns. Looking forward to huh? That'll be a good one. And you're likely going to have some postmarkers during that tournament, I would say, just because it's a smaller lake, and it's it's smaller, it warms up faster, but I would definitely suspect Trent or anybody with a topwater bait in their hands going to be doing some damage on that one. But don't listen to me. Throw what you want. Throw your thing. You can catch them a lot of different ways out there. But yeah, so that's that's going to kind of wrap some things up. David, what are some things that you're over the next few weeks? What would be some advice that you would give to people fishing locally in our local ponds and whatnot, and also on the bigger waters?
Don't be scared to start throwing the top water. I saw some, like I said, caught yesterday morning on one of our local ponds. That's one of my funnest ways to catch fish. Cover some water. Don't be scared to go shallow, but don't be scared to look a little deeper. That's kind of broad, but it's funny you say that. Talking about Indian, I actually won a BFL out of Indian in a pre-spawn pattern of this day, 3 or 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Not this day, but like 2 days ago, popped up on my little Facebook memories thing. And those were a lot of pre-spawn fish, first, second week of April. So
yeah,
they're going to be doing everything. So it's pick your poison. Go have fun. That would be my advice. Go do what you like to go do. I saw pictures of fish caught on a frog today. I've seen pictures caught on the topwater today. I've seen pictures caught on a bush pig today.
Yeah.
Don't be scared to go do it. Just go fishing. That's all you got to do.
Yep, I would agree. I would add too. I am guilty of this, and it actually, I think it played a role in my recent term on Santee Cooper. That I get ahead of the spawn, man. When I start seeing those water temperatures, getting up there, I'm thinking that there should be some fish up shallow. And here, what I've experienced a lot more times than often, and that tournament just solidifies it, is, if you're getting up there and you're spending a lot of time fishing shallow and you're not getting those bites, it's because they're not out there yet, and sometimes, again, I'm using myself as an example. It could just be that you're not in the right area. That could very well be a part of it. on some of these big lakes, another area could be a few degrees warmer than the other. In fact, at Santee and Cooper, one area of the lake was 58 degrees in the morning, and the other area of the lake was 70 degrees in the morning. I'm sorry, 65 degrees in the morning. So it can vary. It definitely can vary. But sometimes that can throw you off. It can be tricky because you would think because it's 65 degrees in the morning that those fish should be up there. And a lot of times that they can be and they will. Now, a lot of guys, end up saying that they call them on trees. Well, it's hard to tell whether or not they're catching, pre or post spawners on that tree unless you're there physically seeing those bass, either seeing a bulging or a sunk in gut, But one thing, is that there's more to it than just water temperatures. It seems like with these fish, there's an internal ticker that says it's time to get up there and start doing the thing. And until that really starts to set in with them, they're just not going to commit to it yet. Another piece of that is, when we're looking at our graph and we're reading surface temperature, that is, you can count on that probably being the first 6 inches at best, But beyond that, you got to think in a 20-foot depth, it takes quite a bit of time for the rest of that water column to warm up. So all those fish that are down that have been living in 8 to 10 foot of water throughout the winter time, 15, 20 foot of water throughout the winter time, yes, there's some other things that are going to be taking place that can get them geared up and moved up out of that deeper water to start feeling that warmer water. But for some of those fish, man, it's going to take them a while before they really feel that. I'm not saying forever, but just something to think about. So, it actually says the length of the day. Absolutely. We're starting to get that, and it's going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to lengthen as we continue on into the summer. So, just some things to think about. Let's see. Roger says, David, Kim's fish came on a Chapo early this week, right at 20 inches. Yeah. I mean, dude, they started catching them on top water, even in the 40s, but that's definitely circumstantial there. So, what were you going to say, David?
Yeah, well, to add to the piece that you were talking about as far as water temperatures and length of day and all that, bass in this area will spawn more than once. I'm a firm believer in it. I grew up fishing a lot of ponds and a lot of smaller waters where I would fish the same areas, and a bass will pull up. A big female has 1 million or 2 million eggs in her, and she's not going to get them all out the first time. So she's going to spawn again a little bit later. But I also am a firm believer the biggest fish spawn earlier. And what I catch a lot of in those late April and early May spawns are those 3 to 4 pounders where we're catching the 6s and 8s earlier in the year. So, that's another piece to kind of take into consideration. So, but they're going to spawn. Look, I've caught fish on beds at Kentucky Lake in the May. So,
yeah. And there's definitely some fish that move up there real early too. That first. You got fish that live in all different depths of the water column. You have fish that live shallow. And those are going to be the first ones that are affected by that warmer weather, that warmer water. I'll give you an example. Gunnersville back in the 1st of March, I found bedding fish, in Browns Creek, and we had that crazy windstorm blow through, but they were locked on beds. I'm not talking like cruisers. There was actually 2 different areas on Browns, one on opposite ends of Browns, and some were cruisers on the more shallower end near were on one side. I wouldn't say shallower end, but on one side of the lake, on one side of Browns Creek, and there was actually a handful that were locked on beds on the opposite side of Browns Creek. So, the wind blew through, and I suspected that area was going to be completely blown out with the fish locked on beds. I didn't go back there during the tournament. Russ Snyder's did, and he freaking ended up doing really good there. But he's a KVD. So, but I think it actually there was one area that was pretty protected that he got to in first. But anyways, so that just goes to show you that you can be like in the same general area. It doesn't even have to be the difference of one end of the lake or the other. You can be in that same general vicinity. You can have some fish that are cruising, hanging around beds, and you can have some fish that are locked on them. So that's the funny part about this sport, man, is that man, it takes a lot of time to dissect these lakes, and learn which area that you need to be in to do well in that tournament. And that definitely, a lot of it comes with experience on lakes. That's the other piece a lot of people don't say, is that it's not just experience, it's experience on lakes.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you have local hammers, because they've been on fishing that same body of water a lot.
Yep.
So anyways, man, this has been awesome, dude. We've had a lot of people in the comments. Just, great to see all you guys. Again, congratulations to David Walker on winning that Proteus rod. You guys be sure to go and check him out if y'all are in the market for a new rod this year. David's got some good inventory up there, as well as some other brands. But you can get on his website again and check them out. Little Miami Outfitters. I've seen Dave's got quite a few BB1s up there in stock. The newer style, the ones that are the more slim, they're sick.
Yep.
So got some Shimano's in stock, got some the cheaper model Lew's combos in there.
Yeah.
So
how much of that left? We're blowing through that stuff.
You going through it?
Yeah. The bait casting I'm done with. I've got a bunch of the spinning rods left. But.
All right, good deal. So, man, great inventory. I know you've had quite a bit of sunline as well the past few times I've been in there. So
we're working hard trying to keep it here.
You are, man. My hat's off to you, dude. You've taken the opportunity in the off season to really build that up. So you guys go and show them some love, man. But man, good fishing to you guys. I hope the best. I hope if you guys catch some big fish, man, post it up on our Facebook page here. The more that you guys can share to this page, the more that this thing can grow, and it helps us to reach more people and help us to drop some more knowledge, help us to do more giveaways for you guys. And just enjoy this together and just have fun. That's what this thing is all about, man. So anyways, any closing thoughts, David? Anything else?
Guys, just go fishing. I mean, this is the freaking worst example in the world because I haven't fished but 4 days this year, but take the time, go get out there. I'm fixing to start getting out there more. Just go have some fun. I mean, that's what it's about. Come see us at the store. I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in this building. There's a lot of changes going on, a lot of great products, and we're building a lot of new pieces particularly on the outdoor side, but even on the other side. So got some new things coming in the very near future that might be really, really exciting, which I can't talk about yet, but there's some new stuff coming.
I hate secrets.
They got to finalize first. So
all right. Well, good deal, man. Again, guys, it's been fun being back on here. You guys look forward. We'll be doing some more stuff coming up. But until then, you guys take care and tight lines to you all.
Thank y'all.